All right. M3. Yo. M3. I genuinely, I genuinely expect this fight to be the hardest one. Granted, M2 exists or R2. I expect this fight to be insane, actually. So here's probably the biggest reason why, because I think like 90% of his attacks are physical attacks. So having a Dark Knight and a Gunbreaker in the midst of it all is probably gonna be a little bit too much to handle. You're gonna need a Paladin or Warrior or both. This attack by itself kind of seals the deal. He doesn't really have an AoE that doesn't just have him spamming. Also, if you've noticed too, the amount that he did during that beginning portion was like kind of light. I think he did like 3 or 4 slams. He does like 8 at the end. I kind of lose track of the count, but it's kind of a lot. Also, in fairness, that attack is probably low-key my favorite thing ever in this entire fight. Low-key. Besides the massive AoE insanity, but this fight is, that move is so sick. I love that move so much. So I don't even think we're gonna see like a regular double lariat or brutal lariat rather. Double. Shouts to Zangief. Without there being some kind of insanity during this too. Cause he absolutely is gonna cleave one side, and then a whole bunch of bombs are gonna come out of the woodwork, and then like, you know what I mean, you gotta just dodge and weave or like deal with a stack marker or like a spread marker, something of the nature. I absolutely expect that to happen. So that's going to be kind of chaotic. So we'll see kind of like how it comes into play. Also, I mean, we'll talk about it more when we get there. But first and foremost, this is probably the most random attack in the game for him to have. I still to this day don't understand why he has a poison ability on his person. There's probably like a lore thing to it that I'm not picking up on, but I'm under the impression that it's the drink that he has that he kind of just, you know, but that's like later on though again. So Barbarous Barrage is the all the bombs coming out, and then there's, okay, so here's this tower mechanic. I don't know if we've ever seen anything like this before, where they, I mean, it's so simple, but it's so true, right? I kind of expect them to combine this with his cleave. That would be kind of nuts. Where there's either going to be like 4 towers, and like where you dodge and during the cleave, you got to probably do something like that, or you'll see it later on too, but there's like a bunch of bombs that he kind of throws out that just kind of explode at different timing, and then you gotta use the thing for that too. I don't actually think that I don't even think that canceling it with your knockback is gonna actually be good. I think you have to sort of like unless it's like a certain scenario. Like for example, let's say he cleaves the west side and I'm unsafe because I'm on the west side. I probably do have to get knocked back over here, but I think the east tower folk can probably knock back immune so they don't have to deal with it. Maybe, don't know though. We'll have to see how it kind of works. I can also imagine there being 8 towers instead of 4. Like that's another thing too. So then they have this move, which is very reminiscent of like kind of what we've seen before. Now the problem though is I don't expect this to just be all that he does with that move. I kind of expect the same thing. Like there will be bombs that appear with different fuses and they'll explode like they're about to very soon. Right, short versus long fuses, and he'll probably start ripping that attack as he does. It might be faster. There might be something else to it. Because when I think about it, I don't actually know. I didn't think about it until really like just now, but a lot of the attacks that he's doing are coming from like his person, but not the bomb thing that's on his chest, like literally. So I think the missed attack might be one of those attacks, but I think that's kind of what the problem is, right? Is like a lot of his abilities, I think, are truly hidden from what he's doing in the normal version. Like we see a lot for this, but I think they knew that the normal version was going to be challenging just solely with the AoEs, that they're saving a lot for the third fight. I actually genuinely feel that way, especially when he drinks the beverage and then the referee comes in and he knocks him out. I think that's going to be an issue as well. They don't actually have it incorporated in this fight because there's nothing like you can stand under the outrunner and then he'll knock it out. You take no damage from it, so you can literally sit underneath this thing and be fine. I actually expect there to be something with this. Like, I think he'll knock it and then kick it out of the arena, but that attack will have such an explosion in comparison that you got to be on the other side kind of thing, you know? So I think that's what we're going to be expecting. I'd actually also like to see them incorporate them trying to disqualify him more frequently. And then, you know what I mean? So much to the point that, like, he actually interfered. You know, the referees try to interfere with him very frequently. And then here he has the combo. So he doesn't always alternate either. He really does kind of like, it is like a use your eyes and dodge kind of thing. But I think the follow-ups that might come with it might be actually more chaotic. So it might be like a double spread or like a stack spread or like a spread partners, you know, something of the nature. And then, of course, with him drinking the beverage and then being enhanced with it too, I kind of expect them to just, like I said, make him go kind of crazy mechanically with what he's doing. Also, it's a buff on his target, so you can actually see it here. Like, where the boss's target is, the drink is actually right there. Like, he actually has it consumed. So maybe there might even be like a duration for how long it lasts, and then he might have to re-drink it, you know? So I think on top of that, and this might be like the scariest thing about it too, literally because the buff is blue and it's like a soda thing that he drinks, I kind of wouldn't be surprised if that color changes and there's different drinks that he consumes. Because, like, you know, there's always more than one flavor of an energy drink, right? So I kind of expect that. And I do expect it to change how he does his combos and like his lariats, his AoEs, and all that stuff. So, because it'd be kind of crazy if his AoEs actually become magical because he drinks a different beverage, and then everything that I said about needing like a Gunbreaker or Dark Knight being kind of like irrelevant, I take it back, you know what I mean? So, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see till we get there. As you can tell by the sheer insanity of this fight and the team kind of going through it, dude, they're kind of going through it. This fight is going to be difficult, and it's honestly, I mean, I think for the first time playthrough, it'll be more difficult than the second fight. But I think once you kind of get the hang of it, though, I actually think the second fight will be harder than the third fight. But I don't think it'll take away at all the insanity of what's going on during this entire thing, because there is genuinely like so much occurring, and a lot of it is also like you kind of have to pay attention to what's going on with the fight, you know. So I don't know. I'm really excited. This is easily, without question, my favorite fight in the entire raid tier outside of the fourth fight. Like, the fourth fight we'll talk about, of course, in the next one, but I love this fight the most out of the three. The song is not, it's not like No Honey Be Lovely, but like I love this song, or sorry, I love this fight like a lot. I think this is easily my favorite fight in a very long time. So, and for a normal difficulty as well, because if you think about the endwalkerness to it, like if there was like a larger hitbox, you know, it'd be kind of like it would the impact wouldn't be as like chaotically crazy, but because the boss's hitbox is the size that it is, you really have to be careful about what you do and like where you go. So I think that's the reason why I like this fight so much, because you have to learn how to dodge. It's literally like a game of fiery dodgeball versus like a wrestler. And I think aesthetically too, the fact that he's a boss that, because the other bosses don't actually like the arena exists, but they don't like really utilize the arena, you know what I mean? Like with the first fight with Kat, like she kind of interacts with the platform, which is really cool. Honeybee doesn't really, she uses like the crowd, but it's like her own people's. But for him, watching him do the lariat and have him actually like hold on to the actual ropes and then swing across, I think that's so cool. So I think aesthetically this fight is one of my favorites, but I think also at the same time, this fight just takes over like a lot for me personally, just because there's just so much going on. I think the chaos is my favorite thing about this. So I don't know. It's obviously too soon to like think about like an ultimate scenario, but like I would actually think that this fight could hold super strong weight, no pun intended, on like in like an ultimate scenario. But I think that that's kind of what they're aiming for to a small degree. Like this fight is fun, dude. It's a lot of fun. What they've really been doing with this fight and the second fight, I personally think, is kind of like the chaoticness of like the boss like doing stuff, because when the red and black circles like fall from, it's under people and it's under people 8 times, so you guys like control it, but when you go through it the first time, it almost feels like it's random. So I kind of enjoy there being like random variants with how they apply mechanics to the fights so far. And I think so far, at least for the normal difficulty, all 3 fights so far have really like showcased that to us like quite a lot. So I'm a big fan. Like I said, I think the issue with this fight is that despite there being so much chaos, I also feel like at the same time though, there's really not a lot of mechanics that you spend a lot of time seeing, but the chaos just kind of makes it go through so much, you know? I think that's what it is for me personally. So the fight is not, like I said, I think like if you go through it, it's not the hardest fight, but it will feel like it is when you go through it the first time. So I think that's kind of what I'm expecting. So I don't know. Honestly, I think it's going to be so fun. I actually expect this fight to be my favorite fight in the entire tier, outside of the 4th fight. The 4th fight usually kind of takes over the favoritism to it, but out of the first 3 though, like I love this fight like so much. I really do. It's easily like one of my favorite fights without question. So there is R3. R4 comes to you soon.